Very well put. Indeed, the shift has shifted to the Bomas of Kenya, where the State Department of Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs is a safety net behind programs like the Inua Jamii Senior Citizens Cash Transfer Program and the National Social Security Fund. So tonight on The Shift, we take a deep dive into these programs and how these initiatives ensure that senior citizens enjoy a dignified life in their sunset years. And to join us live from the Bomas of Kenya is none other than Principal Secretary Joseph Motari, who from the State Department of Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs, to shed light on these programs, the hits and the misses. Good evening, I'm Regina Manyara and you're watching The Shift. Thank you very much, sir, for making time.
Thank you, thank you.
So tonight we're talking about a dignified sunset years for, senior citizens. So if you could fast forward, and I'm not saying you're too old, I'm just saying, if you could fast forward your own perfect sunset years affairs, how would you visualize yourself in retirement?
Thank you, Regina. If I would visualize myself where I came from and where I am, I feel if I didn't go to school well, and if My Excellency the President did not appoint me to this position, then I can assure you I would be vulnerable because of how I grew up and how I was brought up.
Okay.
So in this country, we have people we call vulnerable people. Those are people who are below the bottom of the pyramid. These are people that when we went to the campaign with our Excellency the President, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, we did campaign on a bottom-up economic transformation agenda. So these are people at the bottom of the pyramid, and that is why the government has every reason to make sure that we go down, pick those who are bottom of the pyramid. So what we deal with is simply vulnerable.
The vulnerable people.
The vulnerable people. And if I visualize myself how I would be, then the situation would be even worse.
Dire. So now, Inua Jamii has been praised for its role, in assisting the elderly.
Yes.
So if, for argument's sake, if you were to liken it to a superhero, what would you describe its superpower? How would you describe it? If Inua Jamii was to be equal to a superpower, what would it be?
Inua Jamii, to me, is actually a superpower.
Which one?
Why is a superpower? This is cash is a safety net program, of course. It's a safety net program, and what this program does is to cushion the livelihood of people. Regina, I happen to have grown up as an administrator, and I have worked in the far-flung areas of this nation. As you see, Nairobi, Kenya is not Nairobi. There are people outside there who cannot even manage 50 shillings. So why am I saying is a superhero or a superpower? It is because what the government is doing, it speaks for itself.
All right.
Because once we give the 2,000 to that very vulnerable person, that person is old, 70 years and above. That person is a child who is orphaned and vulnerable. That person is somebody suffering from cerebral palsy.
So tonight, Bona PS, what we asked Kenyans, we asked them 2 questions.
Yes.
Allow me to read it through so that you can also be part of this conversation and get us on X as well as our other various social media platforms.
Yes.
So the first question tonight is, do you think the Inua Jamii program has made significant impact on the vulnerable, and why? Second question is an opinion poll question, Bona PS, and we were asking members of the public, do you think NSSF contributions provide enough security for retirees? We'll be sampling some of your feedback, so be sure to send that feedback across all our social media platforms, including YouTube, X, as well as Facebook there. And the line, or rather our handle, is at KBC Channel 1. Mine is at Ray Manyara. So just today,
yes,
Cabinet has approved the signing of an MOU between your ministry and Helpage Kenya to assist the elderly live a dignified life.
Yeah, right.
What does this entail?
In social protection, we work very closely with our partners. We came to an agreement with Helpage International for us at least to have an MOU to work together for the cash transfer or Inua Jamii program. Remember, Regina, the cash transfer program is fully dependent on the exchequer. Therefore, we are working very closely with our partners, not only Helpage International, but also the World Bank, WFP, UNICEF, all that, to make sure that at least we have a better earning to our people. There are other areas like coming up with the systems that we cannot do with the government exchequer. So it is good to come together, cushion, and try and see whether we can get hold of our vulnerable people in a little bit a better way than depending on the government only.
So it's to build capacity.
It is a building capacity.
So exactly 1 year today,
yes,
the Ethics and the Anti-Corruption Commission conducted an audit on the Inua Jamii cash transfer program. What were the findings? And this came at a time when there were claims of fictitious, dubious persons benefiting under the program.
Yes.
Yes.
Regina, what happened? And it is us who asked the ESCC to come on board. It came in a preventive unit. We wanted to make sure that where is it that it's so weak, a weaker point where we think it can be subjected to corruption. So they came in. They took us through. We gave them some space to go down to the field. They chose some counties, which they went, and they did a bit of fact finding to find out where are these weaker points that can be vulnerable to corruption. And one of the areas that we found is payment to the people who are no longer alive, for example.
The dead. Payments to the dead, actually.
Payment to the dead. What we did after the advice, we went and cleaned our payroll and made sure, actually we removed 194,000 people who were not in the system. So
194,000?
194,000.
Right.
So we removed them from the system, and from that time, nobody has ever complained that true it is not there. And remember, since we work very closely with the Ministry of Interior, and also my officers in the ground, the children officers and social development officers, we went to the field and did also a home to home, house to house, to check whether that person is alive or not. So that report really assisted us to make sure that we do not people who are undeserving. Yes.
So from that cleanup of your database, Bona PS,
yes,
how many are registered on this program in Inua Jamii currently?
Currently, we have 1.76 million Kenyans who are registered in the cash transfer.
1.76.
1.76 million.
Right. And recently we have seen that you have now shifted to disbursing funds through mobile money transfer directly to the beneficiaries. So how much has been disbursed through mobile money for January this year?
Regina, let me take you back a bit.
All right.
Where we found this cash transfer program was in shambles. Actually, we had to make sure, we had to come up with a deep dive to make sure that we bring it up to some sanity. It was really a messy thing. It had arrears. Our Excellency the President did guide us because when we came in, we had an arrears. There was an arrears in the other government. There was an arrears of 16.7 billion, which my Excellency the President gave us. As advised to the National Treasury to give us that money. We paid in two tranches. We've cleared all the areas for 8 months. These all the people and the vulnerable people of this nation had not received a coin. So what we did, when we cleared the backlog that was there, then our Excellence again advised, instead of paying bi-monthly, what can we do? Pay it every month. And further, he advised me to come up with a cabinet memo, which we did. It went through the cabinet. After it went through the cabinet, it was decided by cabinet, directed by cabinet, that we should be paying this money by every month. Every month we should be paying. And further, Your Excellency, the President said, we should even pay it before our salaries. And that is what has been happening. So we've really come a long way, and to that, and now every month. Let me go back. Where we found it was at 1.2 million. We moved it to almost 1.8 million now. The amount of money that we pay every month from the exchequer is 3.6 billion every month. 3.6 billion. 3.6 billion every month, monthly. So we've made a huge stride towards this. Yes.
So now we've seen this. Maybe you can give us a status report, on the transition from the bank accounts to M-Pesa agents via the e-citizen. And there was a pilot project, that began in November 2024 in Muranga and Marsabit counties. Where are we at? How are we looking?
So far so good. So far so good, because remember when we used to pay this money in the banks, some banks are upstairs. The kind of people we are paying this money are very old. People, you would go to the banks and even sleep there. You go the first day, you don't get the money. You wait for another day, you don't get the money. You're waiting for how much? 2,000. So what we have done now is shifting. We did a testing, of course, from Marsabit and Muranga. Why we did that, it was a nearer town where there is ease of payment, and then we took also another far-flung area, that is Marsabit. We compared, and we tried to make sure that we now upscale it to the entire country. We did it, second month now, wonderful.
All right.
Everybody has picked his or her money. From the comfort of the house. From the comfort of the house. Yes.
We'll be hearing what Kenyans had to say in regard to that. Now, all beneficiaries of the Inua Jamii cash transfer program were directed to withdraw any uncollected funds from their bank's accounts yesterday.
Yes.
That was the deadline.
Yes.
And it lapsed at midnight.
Yes.
What is the status now of the unclaimed funds?
The unclaimed fund, of course, will now do what we call a clawback. We'll claw back that money. After clawing back the money, of course, we'll have it. We may have to enroll new members, and if by June we'll not have used that money, of course, we revert it back to the National Treasury. Yeah.
Now, what happens to those now who are locked out? They did not beat the deadline in this cycle. Do they get their money after they validate, or how do you? Because it was money that was already planned for person X. It's just that they did not do what they were required to do by deadline. What happens?
We live in Kenya, Regina, and the Kenyans like going for certain activities at the far end. So by yesterday, we realized there was quite a huge amount of people, quite a number of people going to the banks. So what we did was to extend it for another 5 days. So we extended for another 5 days. Now, whoever doesn't pick that money will simply translate that person is not there.
Okay, so we have 5 more days.
Yes, 5 more days.
From the 10th, so we are looking at the 15th.
From 15th.
Thank you for that clarification. Yes, as you said, we're in Kenya, last minute things. So what is the status report on the ongoing registration drive for new beneficiaries?
We normally, we have come a long way in this social protection thing. For the 2 years, I can tell you we have done wonders in social protection. When we came in, of course, it was poorly done. What we did is that we collected data sometimes last year for the entire nation. Anybody vulnerable, we have an enhanced single registry with us. So it's a repository kind of registry where we put our data, and then we pick from there as we add. Like this particular month, where that is February, I have paid 1.76. The 6,000 are the ones that I've added this month.
The new ones.
Because I've just picked, I've removed those who are no longer in existence, then we have added the new ones.
All right.
Yes.
So we're in the budget making process.
Yes.
So what is the proposed, spend in the financial year 2025-2026? Do you have a figure in mind?
Of course, we needed more money.
All right.
But as I've mentioned earlier, is that we depend on the exchequer.
All right.
I intend to use the same budget of 28 billion every financial year. I intend to use the same such that I upscale others immediately others have left the program, such that I maintain the same program, the same budget, and then I continue removing those who have since left, and then I added a similar number to those who are deserving. Yes.
Very well, there you've had it. 5 more days for those who have not claimed their monies under the Inua Jamii program. Failure to which the monies will revert back to the government. That's what we've heard on part 1 of the shift tonight, when we're looking at matters social protection with none other than Principal Secretary Joseph Mutari. When we come back, we're going to be hearing what Kenyans have to say about this particular program. Do keep it right here. This is A Shift.
Kupitia star 570 hash tunakupa nafasi ya kuchomoka na this beautiful Mazda Demio. Enjoy a beautiful clean semi-leather interior, low mileage, fuel-efficient 1300cc engine, great for personal use and business. Ukitaka kujishindia gari hii, kucheza ni rahisi sana. Chukua simu yako, bonyeza star 570 hash, chagua option 3. And for only 35 shillings, hii gari inaweza kuwa yako. Kumbuka kucheza mara kadhaa, because the more you play, the higher chances of wewe kuwa mshindi.
Mungu ni mwema, asante Mungu. Ile nitakuwa naendesha hivi.
Dial star 570 hash and make this dream car yours.
Cheza Loto Moto.
Ala zote na sanamu zimfikie.
Ibada ambayo ni rahisi sana katika mwezi mtukufu wa Ramadhani ni kufunga. Ndio ibada nyepesi zaidi kwa sababu unasusia tu chakula, japo njaa huwa na ugumu wake. Lakini kuna mambo mengine ambayo ni magumu zaidi kuliko kushinda bila kula.
Idha dakhala Ramadan, pindi Ramadhani inapokuwa ni yenye kuingia, futihat abwabul janna, milango ya janna. Allah huifungua milango yote 8 kwa ajili yetu sisi. Milango 8 inafunguliwa kwa ajili yetu sisi, kwa sababu ndani ya mwezi wa Ramadhan baraka nyingi zinapatikana ndani yake.
The Shift with Regina Manyara.
Welcome back. This is A Shift and we are live from Bomas of Kenya, where we're joined by none other than Principal Secretary Joseph Mutari, who is in charge of social protection. Before we took that quick breather, we had posed a question to you and we want to hear what Kenyans have to say about a particular safety net program, and this is the Inua Jamii program. The question is, has it made significant impact on the vulnerable and where? Why? This is with, Teresa Mutahi was out there in the streets and files the following report.
The Kenyan government has a program by the name Inua Jamii, which offers monthly cash stipends to the vulnerable in the society. But what do Kenyans know about this program? Come with me as we go find out.
I don't know anything about Inua Jamii. Yeah.
Inua Jamii sijui. Nasikianga tu Inua Jamii lakini sijajua.
Inua Jamii nimeisikia na nafikia naifahamu kwa sababu ni wazee aswa zaidi ya miaka 70 wanapewa pesa fulani kila mwisho wa mwezi.
Inua Jamii sana sana nimeisikia but sijui kuihusu.
I know what we call Inua Jamii. It is a good project and it can reach all community.
Iwe ni pesa ambayo inaweza kusaidia. Ni pesa mzuri lakini shilingi 2,000. 2,000 ni pesa kidogo sana ukikombea na ile muda ambaye amekaa akilipa tax. Kwa hivyo Inua Jamii ni sawa ambaye tunaweza kuichukulia na ichukulianga kama Piriton ama aspirin. Ndawa ya kupolesha tu.
Naona mama yangu ambaye ni mzee ya miaka 82 hivi. Anasaidika sana na hiyo.
Inua Jamii inafanya. Unaona watu wengi wakafaidika. Lakini watu wengi sana hawajui kufuatilia. Mpaka ufuatilie ndio utafaidika. Ukikaa chini tu utakufuata mali huko hautaipata.
Inasaidia wasee mwanake wanapata kitu kidogo ya kutengeneza maisha yao. Mtu anaweza nunua hata kama ni dawa, hata kama ni mboga, akipata pesa yake hiyo.
NSSF iko sawa. Mimi kuna wakati nilikuwa NSSF kutoka 1983 mpaka 1995. Na malipo yake ni mzuri. Na nini yake ni mzuri. Inaitwa interest. Interest yake iko sawa.
Sioni sana sababu ni malilio. Kuna wengine nasikia wenye waliandikwa wameretire na wengine mpaka leo wanalia pesa yao hata wajui iko wapi.
Procedure tu unachukua form na apply. Ukisha-apply wanatiza barua kutoka mahali uko kufanya kazi. Then wanakwambia ngoja 2 weeks unapata pesa yako.
Indeed, that is what Kenyans had to say in regard to, the safety net programs, one of them being the Inua Jamii program as well as NSSF. What is your immediate reaction to what Kenyans had to say?
I have heard what others are saying is a good program. Others are saying the money is so little, and others say you have to follow.
Now, let's address one of the issues there.
Yes.
Is that the elderly beneficiaries have outlined challenges that they're facing with the new system, including the discrepancies in the details of the ID cards, which are mandatory for mobile money withdrawals. How are you addressing this?
This is something we are really addressing, Regina, because the only thing they need to do is get to the nearest M-Pesa agent. Once they get to the nearest M-Pesa agent, that will be corrected. All they need to carry is their ID number, and if they don't have a phone or a SIM card which is compatible with the ID number, then they are advised to get a new number which is compatible with the ID. So it is we have really addressed this, and this is coming to be a super thing.
There are those who have old ID numbers.
Yes.
Those born around 1940 and such. How are we addressing that? Because that is a unique.
Yes.
That is a unique demographic, and these are actually the numbers that you're targeting, the ones that are above 80.
To us, that is not a challenge.
All right.
That is not a challenge. There are some rumors saying their 87 digits are not getting paid and all that, but that is not true. We are paying so long as your ID number goes hand in hand with the SIM card. So we don't have a problem with that.
Okay. Now this new system is reportedly more susceptible to fraud due to the ease of withdrawing money from local mobile money agents. What is your take on this?
To me, I'll say it otherwise. It is better than it was in the banks. Why? The local, you can even withdraw that money within the house. You take your phone, start report to hash, you withdraw. You get your money into your phone. That is for those who have the knowledgeability about it. But those who don't have at all, you go to the nearest M-Pesa agent. And you are known, any older person is known there. You just go there and you cash your 2,000. Another question I've had there, Regina, is good to address it as well, is that it's too small.
Actually, I was getting
another one referred
yes,
is as
yes. Someone has called it
is a Piriton.
And my question was to be my question was, are there plans to increase the stipend in light of the high cost of living? And our viewers can get to see on display on the screen how much exactly this particular vulnerable card of people receive monthly. You'll have 2,000 shillings per month to cash transfer. The total amount is 4,000?
No, the cash transfer
is 2,000.
Is 2,000.
Then we have monies to the vulnerable orphans and vulnerable children.
It's still 2,000.
2,000.
Yes.
Then we have older persons cash transfer.
Still 2,000.
Persons with severe disabilities cash transfer.
2,000 still.
Yes. Then we have 5,400 paid by monthly to hunger safety net program to households. The question is the high cost of living. Are there plans to increase these monies? I know you've said your budget you'll still want to do
there are plans, yes.
Yeah.
The anticipation is there. But as I mentioned earlier, this program is fully dependent on the exchequer.
Okay.
Per year, if I really have to increase it, then we may not be able to do any other thing. This is very exchequer, and now that the Kenyans evade tax, now that Kenyans evade tax, then we may not have enough money to pay for this, or to increase this amount of money.
Now that you've raised the issue of tax evasion when it comes to tax, we will address that in another platform. We are still in the budget making process, and we are yet to discuss on how we are going to finance this budget. Now, what is the procedure when a beneficiary, in the event a beneficiary actually passes on? How does your department get to keep track of these people?
Thank you. We work very closely with Interior. And when you go down there, we have all our officers in every sub-county. We have social development officers, we have children officers, and every county of this nation, we have an officer in charge of people living with disabilities. So all these people, plus the chiefs, plus the assistant chiefs, we get reports, of course, from the Interior, from birth and death. We get reports once somebody has died and is our member of this program. We automatically get that every month. We get the report from the Ministry of Interior, and then we just remove the person.
All right.
Yes.
Now, you have a toll-free helpline.
Yes.
1533.
Yes.
How does it operate? How many hours does it operate?
Of course, we intend to upscale this to do 24 hours, but as it is now, we have it as from 8 to 5. The normal working hours.
All right.
Yes, but we intend to make sure that we take it through to 24 hours.
Now, from the feedback that Kenyans have given, they also have some views on the NSSF, and we ran a poll on our social media platform, and our question was, do you think NSSF contributions provide enough security for retirees? So that is an opinion poll that we ran, and you can see it there on the screen, and this was the outcome from the screen. It indicates that only 15% said yes. That is 68 out of the 449 who have currently polled at that time, and the remaining 85% at 381 said no. That maybe can be actually shown on the screen there, on the live poll that we have. There you go, you can see it. So what is your take on this particular field?
Before we came in, and I remember this is, though it's not my docket, but I belong in the same ministry, when we came in as a government, you remember Our Excellency the President giving a presidential directive on the doubling of the NSSF contributions. This has been done so far, and according to me, NSSF is doing very well. Actually, even the payment, the subscriptions has gone very, very high. It's doing wonderfully well. And to me, I do not really think the way I have heard one person saying, though one said it is a wonderful program. And when I talk to my colleague, the PSC for Labor and Skills Development, he tells me the maximum this can take is 10 days, and then you have your money. So to me, NSSF, of course, because of the inflation, I think Our Excellency the President, so it's better to have an increment on that, because the contributions were far too low. So now these days is quite well.
Now, since you're talking about contributions, and I like that you have said that this does not fall in your docket, but look at it this way. Those who are about 3 months to retire still had to contribute to this, the increment and such. But the question is, we have seen a challenge, in remittance, lack of remittance by employers of these funds. Is your ministry concerned about this, and what remedial measures can you offer employees who are deducted but struggle to the point of retirement?
What I know for my sister department is that every person, every ministry is supposed to be doing the remittance, because they do a deduction. Once they do a deduction, it is wrong for them not to remit. And once they remit, then the more the effectiveness of the program. So if what I know is that, like me, the ones that who get the wages, we remit, and very, very effectively. So my take on this is that the remittance needs to be done and must be done.
All right.
Yes.
Now, NSSF does not publish its financial statements. And that is a query, We've seen, and the public have a right to demand, regular audits and full disclosure. What's your take?
Allow me not to really answer that.
Yes.
Allow me not to answer that, because I may not have the exact number when they publish or not. Allow me not to answer that.
All right, we will pick it up with your counterpart in that particular docket. Now, we find our Kenyans still queuing, for these monies. Retirees are like, and yet we're in the digital era. There's no correlation to us saying that we've gone digital and people queuing to get the stipend. How do you address this?
I think because when I spoke to my colleague about these issues, what he told me is that the maximum, and is something on course. Something is, at least we as this government, we have really tried to minimize the number of days that one may take before he or she gets the pension. The minimum that is supposed to be, or the maximum rather, which is supposed to be, is 10 days. 10 days working days should be able, anybody should be able to get that. So I'm sure with time this is coming to be a reality.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, we had posed a question to you. Do you think the Inua Jamii program has made significant impact on the vulnerable, and why? In your opinion, before we hear from Kenyans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Inua Jamii has had a commendable improvement, and it has a lot of impact on this. This money, as I told you earlier, as we were starting, is that you go to the far-flung areas, the very, very vulnerable. There are people there who are not able, especially the arid and semi-arid areas, especially after the climate change, which is a reality in this nation. You get that quite a number of people cannot make even 50 shillings. So the 2,000, and as you heard the Kenyans talk about it, as we were talking, they were giving us feedback, is that it has made a lot of impact to the people of this nation, and we are going on. We are going on. We'll make sure that we make a lot of impact, and I can assure you, watch the space. will have a lot of impact on this. And so far, so good.
So far, so good. So now let's sample your feedback on our various social media platforms, including Facebook. I'll start off with someone by the name. That is what they're going for. Rather, they're going at, they're referring themselves to as opposition. This is on Facebook. They say, it helps, but venye walisema, ipite kwa SIM cards, more of them wamekosa hiyo pesa because wale wazee wa 1940 hawawezi register SIM cards kwa sababu ni 7 digits. Maybe more clarity on that. Then Evans Okalo. Yes, indeed, it has made positive significance to beneficiaries as they use the cash to purchase some of the essential commodities like medicine, food, and other basic necessities. It has also improved the lives of the beneficiaries as well as their overall well-being. We have a response from Henry Wow. Is there any program apart from corruption channels? All right. We have Faith Mweleli. Yes, it has helped to a certain extent. The elderly wako na hope ya kupata kitu every month. This has promoted good mental health. Alice Meki Mutunga says, inaisaidia yatima na wakongwe.
Yes.
That's just but a sneak peek of the feedback that we have on our various social media platforms, including X, including Facebook. Now, let's address this issue by opposition, maybe more conclusively. The issue about non-registration or alleged not able to register because
the 7 digits.
The 7 digits.
Yes.
Unpack that. It seems to be a problem that recurs.
To me, I don't think so. We have tested that, and we have not found anybody who has been denied money because of the 7 digits. I don't know why it is really recurring, and my team is still in the field to find out why this issue of the 7 digits is recurring. Then, since we moved now to M-Pesa is 2 months. Today, actually, yesterday we paid the second month for the cash transfer through M-Pesa. What we are telling these good Kenyans of ours, let them not panic. The money is there for as long as 3 months. So still, even after they register within the 3 months, they'll get their 6,000. So it is not going anywhere, but the 6-digit issue, to me, I feel is something I'm yet to confirm that yes, it's true or not. But what I know is that any ID number is not descriptive. We just pay.
Then the issue of corruption, and I think it comes in from this elderly and vulnerable. When you say the vulnerable, maybe the issue of illiteracy, lack of technical know-how. When you go to this agent, they take advantage, of your lack of, How are we addressing this system?
Regina, the same vulnerable people gave us people we call caregivers. These caregivers are people, the old people, the illiterate people that we refer quote unquote. They gave us people they trust most. Some gave us their grandsons. Some gave us their granddaughters. Some gave us their sons, who we feel they trust most. So and these people should be people who are young, people who at least understand what is happening. So the issue of illiteracy to me may not be an issue on this.
All right. The rest, at least we've had, it's a mixed bag of beans, so to speak, the good, and that's why we're here.
Yes.
So in conclusion, Bwana PS,
yes,
what should we look out for when it comes to matters of social protection?
When you look at social protection, anything vulnerable, actually social protection is what carries the nation. Social protection from the 0 years of birth, 0 years of birth, all the way to the grave, we take care of of the people of this nation. Look at the children, they're under social protection. Look at the vulnerable people, and anybody vulnerable is under the social protection. Look at the adolescents, they are in social protection. Look at the old people are in social protection. So we are the base. Yeah, we are the base of the nation. And that is why we in social protection are geared to making sure that we hold the nation. And truly, Regina, we are holding this nation because when we went to the campaign, I repeat this, we campaigned against bottom-up economic transformation agenda. Who is this bottom? That the lower person. That is the child, that is a person with disability, that is a person who is so much aged, such that cannot defend for himself. So what the government does, and remember, in Africa, Kenya is leading in matters of social protection. None. We are second to none, but first to all. So we have done very well, and I told you earlier, watch the space.
Watch this space. Now, as we come to a close, it is projected that by the year 2027, we are likely to have 2.5 million
yes.
beneficiaries.
Yes.
How sustainable will the Inua Jamii program be?
Inua Jamii is going to be sustainable. Right. Why? Every government has to take care of its people. So you go to the America, they have the social number and they are taking care of their vulnerable people and anybody unemployed. Kenya is a similar case. We have to take care of those who are not able to take care of themselves.
From the poll here, Bwana PS, it indicates that those in the younger demographic, Gen Zs, and maybe even millennials, from our sample size, do not know about this particular program. And as you say, Africa is our business. We take care of our elderly. They do not know. How are you handling this lack of information from those who are supposed to actually even help the elderly register for this program?
Regina, we have really tried. As we came in 2 years down the line, we have really tried. We are always in media. We are in vernacular radios. We are in Twitter. We are in Facebook. Name it. Yeah. Every time you open, even when you are in the car, you will hear, even with the elderly with a small radio, will hear Inua Jamii advertisement. So we have really made sure that Kenyans get to know this. And I'm telling you, Regina, this is not how it was. When I came to social protection, I didn't know anything about cash transfer. But now, I'm telling you about sample, you've seen it, from the views of the Kenyans. They are saying, yes, inasaidia wananchi. So it is there, and I'm telling you the information is on air.
Very well said. This is The Shift. 2 years and a half, we've been looking at the hits and misses when it comes to matters of social protection, and our guest has been none other than Principal Secretary, State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizens Affairs, Joseph Motari. Says, watch this space. The government has a mandate to secure its vulnerable. I take you back to Broadcasting House for the rest of the programming. I'm Regina Manyara. You've been watching The Shift.